All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to your course orientation for EDD 813. I know for sure many of you have been thinking about and planning for and maybe even anticipating or being hesitant about this course because it's all about your research action plan and your IRB proposal and really the shift and bridge into actually engaging in your dissertation work, like in the field within your organization. So I'm going to hop right on to it. I love to start essentially with some working assumptions for this course. So this is going to be a different course than maybe past courses, but you will feel and get a sense of our Midland values and part of our mission throughout this course. So one primary goal is to wear this improvement science researcher hat, primarily because this is a course dedicated to your research action plan and your IRB proposal. And the IRB team, the Institutional Review Board at Midland, will want to know all the ins and outs of your research procedures and your rationale to ensure that you are engaging in ethical human subject research where you're working with human beings and participants. You're also going to integrate all of the big ideas and assignments that you've been working on in this program. And when I mean all assignments, not all assignments, but many of the big assignments. So you have done a lot of work in EDD 808 and EDD 810 where you're contextualizing the problem of practice and you developed a comprehensive improvement plan where you created your theory of improvement and your driver diagram and thought about a PDSA cycle. We're building on all of those ideas. We're not doing anything new. We're polishing them off, and we're going to integrate them into your actual IRB proposal and chapters of your dissertation. We're also working as dissertation chairs, as instructors of this course. So your instructor for the course is your dissertation chair. We are working with the assumption that you are willing to stay open to feedback and flexible in how you implement your DIP study. One, you need to be open to feedback from your dissertation chair or even from the IRB or from your organization. And you'll need to be flexible because although I know we all want to engage in the dissertation study that's going to solve all the problems for our organization, we are bounded by a time frame here. You are part of a graduate program, and you'll need to stay with your cohort and engage in the coursework accordingly. So you'll be asked to design your dissertation so that your change cycle, your implementation cycle, can fit within the boundaries of this program, right? So we're going to ask you to be flexible. We're also working with the assumption that you can multitask and you can work on different assignments at different times. And that's really a skill that we as researchers in the field, as improvement scientists, as leaders of organizations, you do that already. You multitask lots of things. You have one initiative over here, these other projects over here while you're building something new or phasing something out. We do that all the time. You will be asked to do that here in this course. And that might be different than other courses that were a little bit more clean with this assignment is due week 1 and a different assignment is due week 2 and a different assignment is due week 3, etc. So here you might be working on something big across multiple weeks, and that is going to ask that you know how to manage your time really well. Binge writing and binge working in this class is not going to work well. You won't enjoy it. You will want to find time to be really mindful and try to dedicate a certain amount of time each day so you kind of chip away at it and you stay in it. You don't go multiple days without thinking about EDD 813. This is where we are at this part of the program. So as a reminder, some of the things that you're going to see here, because what I'm going to get into next is some of your assignments and such. So many of these ideas are building directly from your work in EDD 808 and your work in EDD 810. You're writing in 808 and you're writing in 810. So you've already gone through all of these processes. But just like we all know that when learning, it is helpful to come back to something and to do it again. We learn from mistakes or we incorporate feedback. We might have aha moments as soon as the course is over, right? So there's reasons for that. Now is the time to polish your ideas as you submit your IRB proposal. So there's a little bit of a different weekly rhythm in this course, and that's because this course is a little bit of a beast in terms of some of the things that we have to accomplish in this course. Do see your syllabus and Canvas for details, but you might find that the calendar in the syllabus of Canvas is a little bit different because you might be submitting multiple files to the same assignment Dropbox. And so those due dates might not like populate in the calendar. It'll be really important to follow the due dates that are outlined. And so you'll get a little bit of that here in this orientation and some of the other orientation materials part of this week. So week 1 is 1 full week, and that's where we'll focus on essentially our course orientation and ethical action research. You'll get into our IRB training. But we have lumped together weeks 2 and 3. So modules 2 and 3 are going to span 2 weeks. But as Midland, we like to keep things in a series of 8 weeks. And so for weeks 2 and 3, you'll be working within the same module. And that module is our DIP, our theory of improvement. Modules 4 and 5 are also grouped together. So for 2 weeks, you'll be working on your DIP, your PDSA cycles, and developing your measures, your instruments, the things that you will use to collect your data. And then we're back onto a 1-week schedule. Week 6 is a work week. Week 7, you'll submit your IRB proposal, so you'll be working on and submitting your IRB proposal. And then in week 8, you'll submit your final chapter 3 and wrapping up the course with a few other self-reflections and self-assessments. So this is just a little different. You do have 2 weeks. It's not 1 week to do two modules. You have 2 weeks to do kind of, 2 modules of content, but that just gives you some flexibility, because as you're improving and refining some of these ideas, you might be needing to schedule some stakeholder conversations or engage in some feedback with them. And so that's why you have a little bit more flexibility there. Okay. It does mean that the assignments that you'll see that are in weeks 2-3 won't be due till the end of the module, so they'll be due in week 3. The assignments that you see in weeks 4 and 5 aren't due until the end of the module, so they'll be due in week 5. Okay. Some assignments and rubrics. You're going to see different rubrics here. I'll get into the grading scheme in a moment. This is essentially a pass, no credit course. And so you're going to see probably different rubrics than you have before. Most of the assignments are essentially graded on a complete and incomplete basis because of just the nature of them. Sometimes they are not all. You actually won't see any assignments that are dedicated to points or have points associated with them in the traditional sense of, if you score 90 out of 100 points, you have an A-, right? So we won't see points like that. Many of the assignments are complete and incomplete. There's still rubrics there giving you feedback, but the feedback is mostly geared to giving you some direction and are they're not taking off any points. There's no reduction in points. They're just feedback oriented. Now, some assignments are assigned points as symbols. Okay. This is how we're working with our chair check-ins in particular. You have 4 of them, and you'll see that same chair check-in assignment will just be repopulated in the modules that it's due, because you'll be submitting your agendas that you want to talk about, like your agendas for your chair check-in. And we want to keep all those files in one place. And you will want to keep all those files in one place so that you can go back and look at, what was our agenda last week? And so it'll all be held within the same assignment versus separating this out into 4 different assignments. So you will just, in one assignment, submit files at different times, and your chair will go in and check for them. So you'll still see it pop in the modules, but don't be alarmed if you're submitting chair check-in 2 and you still see your chair check-in 1 file there. That's purposeful, and you'll see that for some other assignments too. So these points are assigned as symbols. There are some details in the chair check-in assignment guidelines, but you'll get, as soon as you complete 1 chair check-in, you'll earn a 1. As soon as you complete 2 chair check-ins, you'll earn a 2, 3, you'll earn a 3, and 4th with your either your final call or your final self-assessment. You'll get into that later. You'll get the symbol 4. And that's for the instructor, the chair. When we're looking across the grade book, we can quickly see how many chair check-ins you attended, because that's going to inform your final self-assessment in your course grade. So they're used as symbols. If you get a 3 out of 4, it doesn't mean that you earn a 75. That's not what we're going. We're going for them as symbols. If I could color them green, yellow, red, blue, or something, or like a progress bar, I would do that, but that's not possible on Canvas. Some rubrics are updated as you go. So in some of these submissions, particularly for Chapter 2 and Chapter 3, same idea. You'll have the same assignment Dropbox populated in all those modules where you'll be submitting your files to the same assignment. And each time you have that submission and your dissertation chair gives you some feedback, they're going to update the rubric. Now, we expect in each of these chapters that when you submit something for the first time, it's going to be in progress. It's not going to be finalized. It's not going to be perfect. So you're going to get likely an in-progress rubric evaluation. And then after several more submissions or by the end of the course, hopefully that rubric evaluation goes up to meets expectations so that at the very end of the course, we can see that this assignment has indeed reached a sense of meet expectations. So you will see that some rubrics are updated as you go. There's reminders in there, and you'll have chair check-ins to review that as you need. But and I'll talk a little bit more about this again in a moment, but this is feedback oriented. And so you're not going to get 100% on the draft of the first chunk of chapter 3 that you submit. That's not the purpose or the goal. You're probably going to get a good job in progress, revise and resubmit with your next assignment or with your next, with the next due date, because it's always a work in progress. So that's how those rubrics will look. So do take a look at them because they will be a little bit different, but hopefully they're self-explanatory. Some of the assignments I have additional quick orientation videos throughout this week, and you have lots of information for all these, but a brief overview video orientation of these. You have your IRB training and your IRB proposals. That's something we'll work on this course. You'll finalize your Chapter 2, Contextualizing the Problem of Practice, and you will write your Chapter 3, your Theory of Improvement. We'll do this over time in chunks. You'll submit your final copy at the end of the course. You're also going to have a few discussions and writing tune-ups, discussions where you might be, you're engaging in either like a reflective takeaway, or you're submitting something for peer feedback, for peer review, or you're submitting some reflections of your writing tune-up. You'll have 2 writing tune-ups, and we'll talk more about those, but your writing tune-up is you'll meet one-on-one with our Midland doctoral writing consultant, our writing coach, and get some really lovely, helpful support with writing, because we all need it, me included. You have some chair check-ins. You'll meet one-on-one with your chair throughout the course at different points in time. Those are sessions that you will prepare for, and you will create an agenda for. There's some goals listed of like what to bring, but we're starting to try to coach you to like have a sense of agency and a sense of like responsibility with your dissertation as a scholar practitioner, and that this can be a collaborative conversation. Less power dynamic of the instructor, the chair, always having to find you and reach you in order to schedule a meeting at it. That'll be up to you, and you schedule those. And then there's some final DIP and year 2 tasks. There's some like paperwork. You'll secure your 3rd committee member. You'll learn more about that. You will maybe secure your organizational approval. Some organizations you can get approval now during this course, but other organizations might have different deadlines, and you might get that approval later, and that's also okay. And then we will complete the course with a year 2 guided self-reflection, which is very similar to your year 1 guided self-reflection that you engaged in before. I mentioned before that the course grading scheme is different. This is a pass, no credit course, and I've already told you that a lot of these assignments aren't graded, like they're not out of 100 points. So you're having to like reorient yourself. Most of your, like, how will we collaboratively, your dissertation chair and yourself decide, did you earn a pass, a P, or did you earn a no credit, an NC for the course? This is going to be done a lot by reflection and self-assessment of your learning and progress. This is a turning point in the program where you start to take strong ownership of your progress in your work, because it's your dissertation, right? This is a strong feedback-oriented course, meaning that when you submit something, you should expect to have feedback. You should expect to have a need to edit and revise your writing in particular. And so with that, we're not going to give you a rubric where just because you have some edits and revisions that's going to deduct points from you. That's not the goal here. The goal is not mastery. The goal is progress. And so it's a feedback-oriented course, so you won't see traditional grades associated with the assignments. Reminder, you're not going to get things perfect the first time around. I'll say it again. You won't get things perfect the first time around. And then this reminder that you're in the driver's seat. You have a sense of agency as to how you progress through this course and through this program. You will complete a final self-assessment in week 8, and you'll submit that in chair check-in number 4. And that's kind of the final touch point with your chair. There's a rubric here. I'm not going to read through this, and I know it's tiny. The goal is not to be able to read it on the slide, but your final self-assessment has this rubric of kind of criteria for reaching a pass or no credit for the different elements of this course. And so take a look at that. You're guided to take a look at that in your first year check-in to discuss some of your goals, but there is a self-assessment there. And so you will want to, when you reach the rest of the orientation of this course, take a look at that and take a look at that document early on. Take a look at the course grading rubric really early on so that you know the expectations, and you can set some goals and use that to kind of guide your progress and your learning in this course. All right, that's all I have for your course orientation. There are more details about your assignments in other orientation videos, as well as lots of details in the actual assignments themselves. But you can always come back to this video or rewatch it again if you need to as you dive into week 2 just to help orient. But other than that, we wish you the best of luck and cannot wait to see what you create and what you decide to implement for your dissertation and practice.